Hey everyone, what is up? Hope you are doing well. My name is Nate Gittleman with the Making Space in Music team, and welcome to the first video in the Principles of Drum Set series. Let's get started. All right, first things first, I'd like to introduce you to the different parts of the drum set, starting with the snare drum. The snare drum is called a snare drum because of its metal snares on the bottom drum head. They give it its characteristic sound and provide that crack you hear in the backbeat of most songs. Next, let's talk about the hi-hat. The hi-hat is a pair of cymbals, one stacked on top of the other. However, this piece, called a hi-hat clutch, holds the top hi-hat so that when a pedal is pressed with your foot, it closes, and when it's raised, it opens. This provides three different sounds: a closed sound, an open sound, and a chick sound. Next, the bass drum or kick drum. Much like getting a chick sound from the hi-hat with your foot on a pedal, the bass drum is also played with your foot on a pedal. The bass drum is the lowest pitched drum on the drum set and often works in tandem with the snare drum to create a sense of groove. Now let's talk about these drums, called tom-toms or toms for short. Depending on the drum set, you could have anywhere from 0 to over 20 toms, though on average there's usually 2 to 3. For example, this kit has 3, 1 rack tom and 2 floor toms. Because of their descending pitches, toms are often used in fills or as melodic elements in a groove. In between my rack tom and first floor tom is this big cymbal called a ride cymbal. A ride cymbal, much like a hi-hat, is used to create a forward sense of motion in a groove. In addition to playing it normally, you can also play it on the dome or bell of the ride cymbal in order to create a cool change in timbre and accent. Finally, we have these cymbals. These two in front of me are called crash cymbals, and they're used to create accents within a musical phrase. Also, general rule of thumb, it's a good idea to add a kick drum with every crash cymbal to add that extra oomph. Now these two cymbals over here on my right are known as effects cymbals because they're more distinct sounding. For example, this is a stack, which is essentially 2 cymbals stacked on top of each other to sound like a trashy hi-hat. And this cymbal over here is called a China cymbal, which is semi-inverted to make it sound like a distorted crash. Before we listen to parts of the drum set in the context of this series' application etude, I'd like to mention a few more things that are essential to the drum set. In order to keep your drums and cymbal stands from sliding around, it's important to either put your drums on a carpeted floor or on a portable rug. In addition, to protect your cymbals, it's important to have cymbal collars, sleeves, and felts. These prevent metal-to-metal contact that would otherwise damage your cymbals. Now let's listen to the drum set in the context of the Principle Series application etude. By the end of this series, you'll be able to play this with me. Now I know you must be eager to try that out, but first I'd like to talk about how we hold and play with drumsticks. What you want to do is divide the stick into thirds like this. Right around the bottom third, you'll find the fulcrum point, or the point of most bounce or rebound on the stick. Notice when I drop from this point, I get a lot of bounces. If I move up the stick, I'll get less. Same thing when I move down the stick. So we want to be right at the bottom third, and you want to place the pad of your thumb there. Then with your index finger, right at the first knuckle, create a pinch. And this pinch should be firm enough so that the stick does not fall out of our hands when we're waving it around, but not so tight that we're overworking the muscles in our hands and fingers. Once you've found a nice compromise, wrap the other fingers around the stick, and same thing with the fulcrum. We don't want to squeeze so tight that it's overworking the muscles in our hands and causing tension. But we also don't want it to be so loose that it's just the fulcrum holding on. So somewhere in the between. And then we can think about initiating a stroke. When we're initiating a stroke, we want the energy from the arm to transfer into our wrists and the energy from our wrists to transfer into our fingers so that it creates a nice, relaxed stroke. As we get faster, we use less big muscles in the arms and use more just wrist and fingers. To practice this relaxed technique, let's learn a simple warm-up exercise. What we're going to do is play 8 notes on the right hand, 8 notes on the left hand, and then 16 notes on the right. Then same thing off the left hand. So 8 on the left, 8 off the right, and then 16 more on the left. So altogether, it's 8 on the right, 8 on the left, 16 on the right, 8 on the left, 8 on the right, 16 on the left, and then start it over. So I want you to try it with me. We're only going to do it one time through. I'll count us off and end with a right hand release. Ready? 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and ready, go. Awesome. So you can do that before each practice session with a metronome, varying tempos slow to fast, and your hands will be feeling nice and warm. And that's going to do it for the first video in the Principles of Drum Set series. I'll see you in the next one where we'll discuss different positioning and playing options around the drum set. But until then, stay safe and feel free to check out the rest of Making Space in Music.